After traveling for almost 3 months throughout South America, it's time to hit the last country. I got here in Santa Marta, the north of Colombia, after coming from Lima, Peru. Instead of sticking around in Bogota, I flew directly to Santa Marta. Now, to put things in perspective, after finishing my amazing bike tour in Peru and spending a few days in Lima, I didn't feel like staying in Peru. If I wanted to continue going north, I would need more days to do a long hike trail, for example. I only had 8 days left. The reason for this is because I've planned with friends from home to be in Dallas, Texas, USA in 8 days. Because flying to Dallas was only possible from Bogota, I already booked that flight a month ago. So I simply had to get to Bogota in time. That means I decided to spend 8 days in Colombia, just to get a feel for what it's like in this country. So yeah, that's what it's like to do a world trip as well. Most of the time it's just go and don't look at the clock, but sometimes you have certain dates to meet, which makes it, for me, a little less fun, because I enjoy just being free and not looking far ahead. As you can already tell, I started doing a dive in Santa Marta first. Alright, so diving at Santa Marta was incredibly fun. I mean, we had a good time with the dive masters and the other people, but they just can't compare to Southeast Asia. So yeah, for me it was not that special, but it was still fun to dive again. So besides watching the beautiful sunset on Santa Marta beach, there are some more better beaches close to Santa Marta, but I haven't went to. I went now to Minca. It's a cute little town, a little bit more into the forest. So it's a little bit like a jungle vibe here, and today I'm just gonna do a free walking tour. This includes just 2 waterfalls and a little bit of story about the history of Minca, I think. So just gonna have some fun with some new people, meet some new people, and see how things turn off the day after. I've already met some people on the way here in the van, and the day after, so tomorrow, I'm going to rent a motorbike with someone and just drive around a little bit and try to get to the top of the mountain. So that's going to be exciting, but first let's see around Minca what you can do.
The reason because this is an amazing pleasure and an amazing honor for me is because Minca, more than beautiful landscapes, more than green nature, more than cold weather for me, is history and it's also culture. And for me it's an amazing pleasure to share you about this culture. Mijn naam is Christian, ik ben jullie gids vandaag en zijn jullie er klaar voor de tour?
Yes.
Okay, Hamedi Badam. So the Taironas were the first indigenous communities that were living in this area when the Spanish people came, and when they were running away from the Spanish people, they found this place Minca and the Lost City. So the Lost City and Minca, a really sacred place, really blessed place for them, because we're the place where they couldn't be found from the Spanish people. So that's the reason, because they are still make a lot of tributes, a lot of ceremonies, a lot of rituals to protect this area and also to protect the animals and the nature that are in this area. But unfortunately, over the time, the indigenous people have been really affected for the government and also from the paramilitaries. From the government, mostly because the government have been always removing the indigenous people from their communities to start to build like hotels. I remember that when I was a kid, it was so common, it was so usual to be a lot of indigenous people being homeless, living on the street. But it was so crazy how there were a lot of people on the street. Even I remember that there was like a street in Santa Marta where there were a lot of only indigenous people living on the sidewalk, and my mother even didn't know. But what made us realize what was happening with them was just 3-4 years ago, when the government wanted to remove the whole indigenous people that were living inside Tayrona Park to start to build more hotels. So when people realized about this, they started to make a lot of protests, a lot of riots. People blocked the entrance of Tayrona Park. This situation was that made us realize why there were a lot of people in the past being homeless. But over this year, like over the time, the indigenous people have been receiving a lot of rights, a lot of laws. For example, since 2010, the indigenous people are allowed to vote for a candidate, for example, really recently. Before that, they were not considered as a citizen.
Alright, so the tour was yesterday amazing. The tour guide was just incredibly smart. He could speak a lot of Dutch, which was really fun because I've never seen a South American person speaking Dutch that well. He even know like very specific slang languages, so I was like really impressed for that. But besides that, I was also impressed because of all the stories he told us, the history, the rituals the indigenous people did. So it was really recommend to go with him. I'll share a link down in the description. And in the evening we went to like a bar where I already was one time, but this time we really watched the sunset. Yeah, and it was just an incredible view. Came some live music, so I will share a location in the description as well where that is, because maybe you should stay there instead of where I am. My hostel where I'm staying at is like really spacious and has a pool and even a hot tub, which is really awesome, but not a lot of people, so also some families instead of backpackers. So yeah, definitely recommend actually maybe to go there. But it's, I have to say though, it's a 20-minute hike up on the stairs with a backpack, so that's quite tough, I can tell you. So you only want to do that one time, I guess. Alright, so today, next adventure, on the way out to the rental company to get the motorbike. It's just gonna be a small motorbike. It's 200cc, a Honda one, and yeah, we're gonna see if we can reach the top of some mountains and see what kind of back roads we can find. So should be exciting. Let's go. Buenas. Ja, ragazzi. So we're now at the Hostel Donde Mucho, and now we're gonna try the difficult part of the road. So we're gonna see how far we can get. Otherwise we're just gonna walk, maybe, if it's not too far. But it's quite cloudy, so we're not sure if you're actually gonna see anything. I just went up with the drone 500 meters and I couldn't, well, just see cloud. So yeah, gonna see. Moving! We zijn er! So this is the top. You can't see anything. It's a lot of clouds. military base where you cannot of course walk further, and there's a helicopter platform here. So yeah, it's just actually a military base with a lot of antennas. It's actually the only thing they are protecting here. It was an adventure going up, crazy route, good off-road. It was amazing. I mean, this is the off-road I like, without like a big motorbike, which is like very heavy. Now it's just like a very pequeño motorbike, and then it's like very fun to do. But going down though, is not something I'm looking forward to, because going down is always less fun than going up, of course. Hola! They also had difficulty getting up here, helped them a little bit. After going down, we stopped at the first bar, which had a quite nice panoramic view. At that time, the clouds have also raised, with the sun coming through, so we could have a good look at the surroundings. This was an incredible day. Had a lot of fun going up with the lightweight bike. Obviously, sometimes you miss the power you need, but nonetheless, awesome way to kind of end my journey through South America actually. Yes, the 3 months journey is over. After spending one more evening at the Sunset Bar I was last time, I've flown back to Bogota, where I had 2 days left before proceeding on. Fun coincidence is that they celebrated King's Day at the embassy, which you could invite yourself to if you are obviously Dutch. We organized a big group of 30 backpackers to go there. Everyone being super formal and dressed in suits, we simply went with orange shirts. It was hilarious to see the difference between stiff people and us going crazy. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me on the journey through South America.